Neck major, that big boy right on your chest. The action is going to be horizontal adduction, adduction, internal rotation. All portions of the pec, we have the clavicular portion, we have the sternal portion, and we have the costal portion. The clavicular portion, of course, is attached to your clavicle, also part of your manubrium. The sternal portion is going to be your manubrium and your sternum. The costal portion is going to be on a little bit of the cartilage and your abdomen area. The costal portion is going to be doing extension when the humerus is flexed in the flex position. The clavicular portion is going to do flexion. Those are the two different distinctions between those all three portions of that pec major, but they all do horizontal adduction, adduction, and internal rotation. A cool fact about the pectoralis major is that it is attached directly, well, not directly, but in the same area as the latissimus dorsi and your teres major, where your latissimus dorsi is attached or inserted right in between your pectoralis major and your teres major. The insertion is going to be the crest of the greater tubercle of the humerus, and it's the pec major.
Interesting factoid about this big boy is, technically speaking, it is not one of the 17 muscles of the shoulder, because as you heard, there's no origin or insertion of the scapula. If we really wanted to nerd out, what would that 17th muscle of the scapula be? It's not the pec major. What is it, Travis?
The omohyoid muscle, very tiny, thin little muscle that doesn't really do anything. It's just,
You're
it's
not
just
going to the
there.
gym today to train the omohyoid, but technically it's a posterior, it's like a neck muscle that works with, I believe, some type of elevation of the scapula. So if you're ever on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and it says which of the following is not attached to the scapula, pec major, pec minor, your rhomboid major, and your supraspinatus, that answer would be the pectoralis major. In the gym, we simplify it by saying upper chest, middle chest, lower chest, by doing incline, by doing regular bench, and decline. You can bias based off where you are going with your hands or the bar. So like if you do a chest, like we can imagine the chest fly machine. It's a transverse exercise. Most people will just bring the handle straight in front. Well, that's going to be your pectoralis major, the sternal region. But if you were to sit the bench down really low and bring the handles high, you're going to bias more of the upper or the clavicular region. If you bring the bench up really high, then you bring it lower. So like think of midline or your nipple line. Below that, that's going to bias more of the costal region. The reason why a incline typically is a lot harder than the regular bench is I like to grab my chest. You can grab it if you like, if you pay me $15 on my OnlyFans page. But if you look at the three fingers that are going towards the sternum, my thumb is going towards my clavicle, and then my pinky is going towards my ribs. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that when I do a bench press, you're getting these muscles. If you do an incline, you're getting more of the thumb portion. So you don't have as many of the fibers. The fibers from the thumb portion are significantly less than the bench. That's why we're a lot stronger when we do bench press in comparison to the incline. You'd be surprised at how many people get frustrated or they don't bench because like, oh man, I don't know why I can do 225 for 8 on flat, but I can barely do it for 1 on incline. We also are going to have an extreme range of motion decrease. You're not going to get as much range of motion. When you do an incline, you're going to take the glenohumeral joint through a greater range of motion. And a lot of bros don't have that. So the incline can cause some shoulder issues. Not saying incline's bad, but if you don't incline much and you go right to a barbell, you're fixed. So it's just going to probably put it into a little more of a range of motion that you're not used to. So a lot of times when people are benching out, or sorry, incline barbell benching, I'll just take them over to the dumbbells and it feels a lot better because you take from the fixed pronated to a little bit more of that scapular plane, and they find that to be a lot nicer on their shoulder. Any last little factoids, Travis, about the pectoralis major? If someone wants to sit in your level 2 class, when is that?
There's gonna be Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
If you want to level up your game, you got to get in front of the best. And that is what we are exposing you to. Make sure to throw this in your story. Check out Travis's calls. Make sure to give him a follow. Where can they follow you on Instagram?
TravXFlex on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,